The social worker for Welcome Homes wanted to get people involved with the children there that didn't have parent involvement or that were state wards. And he listed the kids that were available. And he said, oh yeah, a little boy named Greg just became a state ward. And I said, oh, Greg, he's so cute, I'll take him. But I hadn't really worked with him that much, but I just remember that he was really giggly all the time and he was really cute. I got licensed for foster care, and I would come and visit him maybe a couple times a week, and then I'd take him home. I was 22 when I started doing that, and I took him home every holiday since he was 4 years old. I can remember the very first time I brought him home. I carried him in. He was very small for his age when he was 4 years old. And he had this parka on, and I remember laying him on the couch and taken off his park, and my mom came in, oh, so cute, and picked him up, and look, Robert, my dad's name was Robert, look at how cute, and she carried him to my dad to show him to my dad. So, I don't know, I just bonded with him right away, and after a few years, I wanted him home with me full time. But I had to really fight to get him out, because I was young and single. The social workers didn't think it was gonna last. What it came down to was he was getting a new social worker, and so she was coming to the house to meet me and Greg. I was going to ask her about adopting Greg. I kind of told God, I said, okay, I'm going to ask her if I can adopt Greg. But if she says no, I'll just sort of take that as my answer, that for whatever reason, that it's not your plan for me to adopt Greg. The social worker came to the door, sat down at the table, and she said, well, before we get started, I wanted to ask you if you had any interest in adopting Greg. I practically fell off my chair. It's like, what? Yes, that's all I wanted to do for the past, how many years. I figured I would probably not get married because no one would want to marry someone with a child, much less a child with disabilities. So I met Tim, and he loved kids, and he thought I would, because I had Greg and took care of Greg, he thought I'd make a really good mother. So, he had no problem. I didn't want him to adopt Greg unless he wanted to. I never even talked about it. And then when I was pregnant with Heidi one day, he said, well, I'd like to adopt Greg too. So, okay, great.
We couldn't ever not do anything, because of my brother. I don't remember ever feeling like I couldn't do something because my brother was around or because my mom was busy taking care of my brother.
I knew he was adopted, but I never thought of him as adopted. And when I think about my life with him, I was always going to things that, I went to his programs in school and doctors and stuff like that. So I was used to seeing adaptive equipment, and I was used to seeing other people in wheelchairs, and I was used to seeing people with disabilities. So it never was odd to me, and I never felt uncomfortable, and it always just seemed like a normal part of my life.
I do always remember feeling like a sense of pride whenever I was out and about with him and my mom, this is my brother, Greg is my brother.
We had a van for him growing up, but you can't go everywhere, and everything takes more time. Lynn and Sue started taking him. That freed up so much for our family, because before that, We didn't go to church together. My parents both couldn't come to hockey games on the weekends. We never went somewhere as a family for a long week because Greg couldn't. It wasn't easy for him to come and do those things.
They were living in North St. Paul, and we went in to learn how to feed them and take care of them. We provide waiver services for Greg. Greg goes once a month to Lynn's house for respite, spends a weekend or sometimes a week when the family goes on vacation. And then we take him 2 days a week, and we put him in the stander. In the summertime, we've taken him to the lake. He's gotten in the water, gone on boats. It's a chance to get him out in the community.
He loves boat rides, and he loves swimming. When we used to be able to take him swimming, he used to just love the swimming pool.
Greg is healthy and not as disabled as many of the folks we serve, which for some people it's like, wow, really? Because Greg can't talk and he doesn't walk and, you know, the many things. I think a lot of people outside of the disability world focus on what somebody can't do, and we focus on what people can do, and we find ways to adapt it and make it possible.
He comes in laughing and is just so excited to see everyone. When I think of Greg, I just think very lighthearted, goofs around a lot, is very endearing and just really fun to be around. Even if he's not feeling the greatest, really easy to get a laugh out of him. He's just really fun.
He's so noisy and he makes so many noises. He has a lot of movements, you know, because of the cerebral palsy. And I do recall a lot of times friends coming over and being kind of afraid that he was in the other room making so many noises and them just not understanding it. There's not really anything to understand. Greg is Greg. You know, he is who he is. And, you know, he's an adult with an infant brain, you know, and, you know, he's just Greg.
There's just a comfortability factor that I know it's hard for people to overcome, and that can be a barrier. So anyone that can deal with their own things that make them feel uncomfortable and overcome it to love someone like Greg is, I think, huge. Now having my own kid, I know that they will grow out of the stages that they're in too. And Greg will never grow out of the baby stage. Like one day I'll be done with diapers, and one day my mom will never be done with diapers. And that's what she's decided to give her life to.
Now having my own kids and seeing that not only did she take care of little kids, but she was taking care of my brother at the same time. You know, my brother who is an adult with an infant mind. You know, that's huge. And my mom was able to manage all of that.
That's taught me more than anything else about how God desires us to live and be faithful to what we've been given. But the quality of Greg's life is, I would know without a doubt, is so much better than if he was just in an institution. And it's because he's received personal, intentional, loving care every day of his life and been in a family. And Greg is who he is every day. And my mom has decided to be faithful to him. And I think in that way, she's faithful to who God's called her to be.
I guess I'd want people to know that he's not a burden. That really bugs me. Or when people say, oh, you know, that it's so great that I have him and that, you know, how much work he is. And I hate that. Because everybody has their God-given ability to do. I really feel like God gave me this love for people like Greg, or I won't say he's not work. You know, yeah, it's work, but Greg's been it sounds like a cliche, oh, he's a real joy. But he is, you know, he's a fun person. And he's been really easy to have outside of the physical needs that he has. He's really been an easy child because he's so happy all the time. So I guess that's what I'd like people to know.
People with disabilities add to society the very things that you and I add. to society. Humor, talent, ambition, friendship and compassion, adventure, self-advocacy, and determination. The very things that make us who we are.
I mean, whenever I get caught up in like feeling guilty because I'm not doing something, or, you always think you should be doing more, doing this or that. And I look at Greg and think, God loves him. He's not doing anything what society would think is, productive, but, he's a joy to everybody. I think our family's better for having had him. I'm a better person for having had him. I think that's the biggest thing. I look at Greg and think that, God just loves us the way we are, and I don't have to be doing something. And he does live in the moment, and that's how we should live. I just wanted him to be healthy and happy. That's still what I want.